The Emirates Stadium on a European night is a different beast entirely, a cauldron where history and expectation collide, and on this particular evening, it was the stage for a performance from Mikel Arteta's Arsenal that felt less like a simple victory and more like a profound statement of intent. Dissecting Bayern Munich with a surgical 3-1 precision, the Gunners didn't just win a football match, they delivered a tactical seminar, a masterclass in modern football that exposed the vulnerabilities of a European giant, while showcasing their own rapidly evolving identity. This was a victory built on 3 unshakable pillars, lessons that will resonate not just in North London, but across the continent, signalling that Arsenal's project has moved from promising to genuinely formidable. The first and most glaring lesson was the sheer, unadulterated power of Arteta's set-piece sorcery. In a game of fine margins, the ability to manufacture goals from dead ball situations is a weapon of mass destruction, and Arsenal wielded it with devastating effect. The opening goal was a testament to meticulous planning and ruthless execution. It wasn't a hopeful looping cross into a crowded area. It was a pre-rehearsed move of geometric precision. Bukayo Saka's delivery was a whip-smart, curling invitation into the heart of the Bayern penalty box. And meeting it was Jurrien Timber, who transformed from central defender to aerial predator. His leap was not just one of height, but of timing and conviction, soaring above the static German defence to power a header past a helpless Manuel Neuer. This goal was more than just an early lead. It was a psychological blow. A declaration that Arsenal would exploit every single opportunity, every minor infraction, every restart with the cold. Calculated efficiency of a title-contending side. It set the tone, proving that in the rarefied air of the Champions League, corners and free kicks are not mere formalities, but genuine, high-percentage scoring chances that can decide the biggest of games. However, Bayern Munich, with their ingrained pedigree, were never going to capitulate so easily. Their response was a stark reminder of their own quality, a flash of the old. Purifying counter-attacking prowess that has defined them for a decade. A single, searing diagonal pass from Joshua Kimmich found its target. A touch to control, and then the devastating finish from the prodigious talent, Leonard Carl. To leather a shot home with his weaker foot in such a high-pressure moment spoke volumes of the youngster's temperament. For a period, the momentum shifted, and the familiar ghosts of past encounters with German opposition seemed to stir. Arsenal's high line looked momentarily vulnerable, and Bayern's transition game, that legendary tool of Teutonic precision, had briefly flickered to life. This phase of the game was a critical test of Arsenal's maturity, a check on their nerve after seeing a hard-earned advantage wiped out in a moment of opposition brilliance. It was the kind of moment that has undone them in previous seasons. But the reaction that followed showed this is a different Arsenal. A team with a stronger psychological core. The second half was where the game was truly won. And it unveiled the second major lesson. Arsenal's press is a suffocating, relentless force that can break the will of even the most technically gifted opponents. Arteta's men emerged from the break with a renewed ferocity, a collective intensity that pinned Bayern back in their own half. They pressed like a unit possessed, hunting in packs and denying the Bavarians any time or space to build from the back. The turning point was a moment born not from intricate passing, but from sheer defensive hunger and instantaneous transition. It was triggered by Declan Rice, whose role as the midfield destroyer has become so pivotal. He sensed the hesitation in Dio Chupamino, nicked the ball with the deftness of a pickpocket, and instantly set Arsenal on the front foot. The move that followed was a blur of one-touch football. A quick feed to Ebery Eze, a whipped first-time cross from Ricardo Calafiori, and the emphatic thunderous header from Noni Madueke. The power and placement of Madueke's header, soaring into the roof of the net for his maiden Champions League goal, was a moment of pure elation. It was the reward for a sustained period of dominance. A goal crafted from pressure and won through sheer force of will. This relentless pressure didn't just yield one goal. It completely broke Bayern's rhythm and led directly to the coup de grace, which illustrated the third and perhaps most significant lesson: the profound impact of Arsenal's bench. With the game in the balance, Arteta had the luxury of introducing game changers, while Vincent Kompany watched his options diminish. The third goal was a masterpiece of individual brilliance, born from a collective fatigue induced by Arsenal's press. Gabriel Martinelli, introduced to stretch a tiring defence, was the architect. He pounced on a loose, errant pass, a mistake forced by the cumulative pressure Arsenal had applied all half. Shrugging off a last-ditch challenge with a blend of strength and balance, the Brazilian speed merchant looked up and saw Manuel Neuer straying ever so slightly from his line. What followed was not a blast, but a moment of sublime audacity. A cheeky, perfectly weighted chip that floated over the stranded World Cup winner and dropped gracefully beneath the crossbar. It was a goal that mixed street-smart opportunism with breathtaking technical quality. A combination that separates good teams from great ones. The fact that both the second-half goals came from substitutes, from Madueke and Martinelli, is a terrifying prospect for the rest of Europe. It signifies a squad depth that allows Arteta to maintain intensity for 90 minutes and change games with his selections, moving beyond a reliance on 11 key players. In the aftermath, the comments from Joshua Kimmich, while tinged with frustration, inadvertently served as the highest compliment to Arsenal's effective, if unorthodox, game plan. His critique of Arsenal's long ball lunacy and reliance on set-piece shenanigans and second-ball scraps was a fascinating admission. He framed it as a criticism, a lament that the game wasn't a pure technical chess match like their encounter with PSG. But in doing so, he completely missed the point. Arsenal's victory was a demonstration of tactical flexibility and strategic pragmatism. They identified a potential weakness in Bayern's structure, a discomfort against direct, physical play, and they exploited it mercilessly. They won the duels, dominated the aerial battles, and fought for every second ball with a hunger that Bayern could not match. This wasn't a lack of football. This was a different, equally valid form of it. It was a performance of grit and guile, proving that to win at the very highest level, a team must be capable of winning pretty and winning ugly. On this night, Arsenal did both, blending a beautiful first-half set-piece goal with a brutally effective second-half display of power and pressure. This 3-1 triumph over Bayern Munich was more than 3 points. It was a declaration that Arsenal are no longer nearly men, but genuine. Multifaceted contenders who have learned how to win by any means necessary.